Yeah, greetings everybody. Apologies for some little interference here and there. But yes, welcome back again to our studies for Kiswahili, and where we basically study the Swahili language for the purpose of unification of Africa. Some people will ask, why are we studying Swahili? Basically, it's to help us connect with our people in the continent. You must realize that the majority of the continent, especially the majority of the Bantu-speaking communities in Africa, speak a lot of Swahili or can easily understand Swahili. So then Swahili is a future language for us as a continent that can be a unifying language. Because now you see here speak English here, but some friends, if they were to join here from maybe some parts of West Africa, could not be understanding what you're speaking. Even if we'll be having future African conference, we still have to speak the English language, translate it to German or either French or either Spanish, and speaking the same Africans. So that's really something that we need to work on. And the sooner we do this, I actually support and propose that various countries can even adapt the Swahili teaching. I know some countries have done this, but teach Swahili in various schools. Probably even if they start with the younger generation today, we are sure in the next 20 years we'll be having a whole Africa that speak the same language. And that language will be Swahili language. So even if we discuss our issues in Africa unification and whatever, we easily understand each other and speak of that or discuss that in a language that is almost Afrocentric or Afrocentric language. So that's why we do Swahili. Basically, to help you connect and learn and get in touch with various people. So welcome, and those who have been joining us for a period of time, we appreciate your patience, your attendance, and your contribution every day. So today, basically, last week we were looking at various parts. We've been building up on this concept from the prefix, the pronoun, and the tenses, the past tense, the present tense. And we move it a bit little further to make on discussion in regards to simple sentences. And here we were discussing last time on the positive simple sentences from first person pronoun, second person pronoun, and third person pronoun. The me, wewe, and yeye, which then the prefix will be, or the pronoun will be mimi ni, wewe u, yeye a. And that's how it goes. Mimi ni is in the first person pronouns. For example, mimi nilisoma. Wewe ul is wewe ulisoma, that's second person pronoun. And yeye al, which is yeye alisoma. Basically, that's the third person pronouns. In the plural of this, it was the same. Nilisoma, tulisoma. So ni go to. While in the ulisoma, it go mulisoma. That's the plural. While in the third person pronoun, alisoma goes to walisoma. So that's basically what we discussed last time. And today, I see most of the words we discussed last time were in positive sentence. Positive sentence is a sentence that means positive action taking place. And the action here is soma. And soma means read. So if you say ulisoma kitabu means you read the book. But now we still also have to learn also the negative aspect. It's like if you are learning to drive, you cannot only learn driving forward. You must also learn a reverse drive at the same time for you to be a complete driver. So if you cannot put a reverse gear, then you're just not a driver, because you'll move forward, but at a time you'll have to go a reverse gear. So we are looking at negation of the words as well, as we've done before. And today we'll be looking at the negation of both the first person pronoun, second person pronoun, and the third person pronoun. And I'd indicated this in our last reading, that in a sentence, there are various components of a sentence. As for example, I was breaking down the sentence soma. Let me see if my side space will allow me to do enough space now. That one won't be enough. So let me reduce the screen so that I can move on with what I want to share. Just a reminder, before we learn the negative aspects, you can expand your screen. I'm trying to reduce my screen so that I can have a space for side writing. Yeah. So for example, he said the word nilisoma. Nilisoma kitabu, which basically means that I read the book. We said that here there are so many components of this word. The main one is ni, which we said is the pronoun. And this case is the first person pronoun. The second aspect is li, which you said is a tense. So in this case, it's a past tense. Then the word soma is the main verb. In this all now make up the word we say nilisoma, which basically means I read. Now, where we want to focus today is when you're negating this sentence, when you're saying you didn't read, what do we say? That's where we want to focus today. So permit me to get to this, and I'll explain by leaving that side chat there. I'll explain what do we negate and what we don't negate when you're doing the negative affirmation of the sentence. Now, this is where we are today. So let's get now straight to the negative aspect. For the first person pronoun, remember the main sentence was nilisoma kitabu. If you can remember that, that is what was up there, nilisoma kitabu. The negative aspect is sikusoma. So in the sikusoma, you realize that where there was a ni, we've replaced by si. So ni, which is the first pronoun, we replace by si. And in all of the first person pronoun, it will be always si. Nilisoma sikusoma, ninakula sikuli, ama sili, ninalala silali. So when you have the word like nalala, which means I'm sleeping, you will negate it by saying silali, which means I'm not sleeping. When you say ninasoma in the second person pronoun, in the first person pronoun, in the aspect, for example, I'll say ninasoma. Ninasoma means I am reading, which is a continuous word. Am reading. Now, if you negate these, you will change it from ni and replace ni with si. But now, also now will go out, it will be si somi. Instead of ninasoma, it will be si somi. Si somi kitabu. Si somi means I'm not reading. There's no general principle on how this changes. Because you realize if you are doing, these are current, which is the present tense. You say, I am not reading is he saw me. If you do the past, for example, when we said nilisoma, its negative aspect, which nilisoma, which basically means I read as past tense. The negative affirmation on it will be sikusoma. There's something you realize here. But let me finish first of all the all aspect. For example, this is now the past tense. The first one is the continuous tense, ninasoma. This is the present tense. This is nilisoma is the past tense. And the future tense, for example, will be nitasoma on a positive affirmation. In the negative affirmation will be sitasoma. So basically there's something that's coming out here that you need to realize. For example, when you're looking at these keywords here, the words, for example, the word like, sorry for that. Let me delete this. Now let's start the chat. Now, are you seeing my chat? The main chat, leave the side chat. We start discussing this. In the main chat, the first word in past tenses in the first person pronoun? Can somebody read that?
Sikusoma.
Yes.
Kitabu.
Sikusoma kitabu,
Kitabu.
which means I didn't read the book.
Mm-hmm.
Sikusoma kitabu. I didn't read the book. This is coming from the word nilisoma kitabu. So nilisoma kitabu meant I read the book. You see? This is here. Nilisoma. If you can see my blue sign, there's a word I'm trying to underline.
Yeah, we see it.
Now, this was the positive side, nilisoma kitabu. But his negative affirmation would be sikusoma kitabu. Now, somebody read the second sentence there, the present perfect. The next sentence after what Sister Ida has read.
Nalala.
No. On the main chat, leave the side screen, the main chat. On the
present perfect.
Yeah, in the present perfect.
Second one down.
Do you see what Sister Ida read? Sister Ida read the first one. So the second one is this one, where my pen is.
Okay.
The word is?
Silisoma kitabu.
No. Sijasoma kitabu.
Siku.
No, sija.
Oh, sijasoma. Okay.
Sijasoma kitabu. Which comes from the present perfect, the word nimesoma. So if you realize these first two, with the past tense and the present tense, the word soma remains soma. If you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
The main verb soma remains soma. So it is soma, and the other one is sikusoma. You see? It's soma soma. Now let's read the present tense. The third one. What does it say? Can somebody read the third one? The one below what you've
one down.
The third one.
Oh, sisoma.
It's not sisoma now. It is sisomi. If you can see that now.
Okay, sisom.
No, it's no longer
sisomi.
now. It's now somi. Are you seeing that?
Okay, yes.
And the tense has also been removed. If you can realize, the tense has been removed. Yeah, Brother Cook is trying to make some pens over here. The red ones. If you see, the second one is talking, the third one is saying now, see, saw me. But the other one was see, ja, soma. Are you seeing that? There was two si and ja. The first one is si ku, which means in the past tense and the present perfect, the si is replacing the pronoun ni, nilisoma. You see? The ku replacing the li, which is the tense, the past tense. So the past tense, in the normal sentence, it was nilisoma. So ni and li has been replaced by si and ku. Si standing for first person pronoun and ku standing for the tenses. If you go to the present tense, it's the same thing happening. There's a si and a ja, sijasoma. And you realize that in the sijasoma, it means the si has replaced the pronoun ni, and ja has replaced the pronoun me, ni mesoma. Now, where the pronoun is now being removed, in the present tense, it says si, so, me. Which means we've only remained with the pronoun, but the tenses has been removed. If you can check, there's no tenses before the verb.
Okay, yeah, it just goes straight to the word.
The tense has now been replaced by me. You see the I in the sisomi?
Yeah.
The I that replaces the A in the word soma, that I now stands for the pronouns. That's why if you see its color is equivalent to the color of ja and the ku. The color underlining the word I, the E, sisomi. So in this case, the pronoun has been changed, so you don't need to bring the tense in between. You don't mean to say sinasoma, because it's a present thing. The present word is ninasoma, presently. We can ninasoma, the na in the word ninasoma is what means the present aspect of it. If you can read my search screen, there's a word I'm underlining ninasoma. You see the word ninasoma, the na after ni is what provides the tense, the present tense, ninasoma. But it is incorrect grammatically to actually negate that sentence by saying sinasoma. When you say sinasoma, it doesn't work out. That's not grammatically correct. So the grammatically correct word will be sisomi, as it is written here. So the pronoun na has now been taken far away to the end of soma and has replaced a with an I. So it's sisomi. That's why you check up there we've been maintaining sikusoma, sijasoma. But here the soma is changing to somi because you've removed the tense, because it's a current tense. It's a present tense. That's the same thing that happened with the present continuous. You still say sisomi. So the correct word is sisomi for present and sisomi for continuous. When you go to the future tense, the last sentence down there, it says what? Sitasoma. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Sitasoma. Which means ta is replacing ta is representing what? A tense. Future tense. You remember the tenses we say it is na, me, li, and ta. Li is the past tense like nilisoma. That's past li. Me is the present perfect tense like nimesoma. Me, nimesoma. La is the present tense by saying ninasoma. Ninasoma. That's present tense. Then ta is the future tense by saying sitasoma. Ama nitasoma. So in this case, where the tense has been introduced back, the soma do not change. It remains soma. So you say sita soma. But where you remove the tense here, you put the tense in the far end, so it becomes sisomi. Because it cannot be grammatically correct to negate a present activity. Like you are saying, you're negating what's going on currently. If you look at the English side of it, it says, I am not reading. You see? For sisomi, present continuous, it says, I am not reading. And it also says, I don't read. You see? I don't read. Sisomi. But you see, when you look at the present perfect in English, it says, I have not. There's a word have that has been introduced here before the word not. So basically in Swahili, the correct word will be sikusoma kitabu, which means I didn't read the book. Sijasoma kitabu, which means I haven't read the book. Sisomi kitabu, which means I'm not reading the book. And sisomi again, which means I am not reading the book in present continuous. And in future, you say sitasoma. So here, remember the other side when you were doing the plural, singular. Like in the word, the single word ninasoma, the word ninasoma, its plural was? Let me take you back where you are, because you must maybe have forgotten that. It's just up the screen. Let me take you up, you see.
Is it the past tense? No.
Ninasoma, the plural.
Nitasoma.
Ninasoma, the plural was two. Tunasoma.
Okay. Yeah.
So the ni in plural was replaced by two. Remember that? Just keep
Well,
that
I
in
don't
mind.
remember, but now you're telling us, yes.
The word is
all.
ni, which is here is a pronoun, will be replaced by tu, which is the plural of that pronoun. So ni is the singular, tu is the plural. So ni soma, tulisoma. In the second person pronouns, u is the singular aspect, and is the plural of it. So you say ulisoma, mulisoma. In the third person pronoun, a will be replaced with wa. So a is the singular aspect, which is alisoma, he read, walisoma, they read.
Okay.
That is the plural of positive affirmation. But now we are going to negative affirmation. You see? Where we are now negating me to see. So let me put the negative aspect here so that I can differentiate. So in negative, the ni is replaced by see. If you can go back to your screen down, let me take you now to the current page. You see that where we have the word nilisoma is now being said sikusoma. Are you seeing that? You see my chart here?
Yep.
Now the word nilisoma is now being replaced by the word sikusoma. Huh?
Yep.
The same way, now the u in plural, in singular, u will be replaced by who. So ulisoma will be hukusoma, who, H-U. Well, in the singular aspect where we have alisoma, a will be replaced by ha, H-A. U will be H-U, ulisoma, hukusoma. That is the replacement of the words in singular aspect. If you move to the plural aspect, for example, where we have the word you are seeing in the screen, sikusoma kitabu. Are you seeing that? The first word we have read, sikusoma kitabu. Plural will be hatuku. Hatuku soma.
Yeah.
Hatuku, which means we didn't. Hatuku in plural. Sikusoma, hatukusoma. Nilisoma, sisomi, hatusomi. Sijasoma, hatujasoma. Ha. The ha is the negative aspect here. If you get to the same in the sentence of hukusoma, in the second person pronoun, hukusoma. Hukusoma kitabu, if you read the second paragraph down here, the second chart, second person singular, in the singular aspect you say hukusoma. The hukusoma, will be replaced by ham. You bring the m, ham. Remember the m we had in the second person pronoun in the positive affirmation where we say ulisoma, lisoma. So bring ha, the m must be the hamukusoma. So become hamukusoma. If you look at the third person pronouns where there's the word hakusoma. Now the third chart here down here, you have the word ha. You say hakusoma. It will be replaced by hawaku. Ha-wa kusoma. So basically, there's an introduction of ha-wa, which if you look up there on the positive affirmation, there was a wa. If you can see where my pen is moving around, let me move my pen, you see. Here, you see there was a wa in the third person pronoun, where alisoma will move to walisoma. Are you seeing this? Where my pen is moving around on the blue side. So alisoma was moving to walisoma, you see? Now, if you go to the third person pronoun, the word is hakusoma. Now, it means they didn't or he didn't read. But the plural will be hawa, which means they've still taken the wa, which was in the third person pronoun in positive aspect. So they say hawakusoma, which means they didn't read hawakusoma. If you
Where is hawakusoma on the writing bit? Hawa. Oh, right at the bottom. Yeah. Thank you.
On the chart is right on the bottom.
Yeah.
You
Thank
see?
you.
While if you look at the second chart, the word was hukusoma, huku, which means you didn't read. Huku. They introduced the HU for the second person pronoun. Hukusoma. While if you look at the plural of that will be hamuku. Ha That before the word kusoma, that word is the same word you apply in the second person pronoun, where there's u, while in plural will be ulisoma, mlisoma. So here is hamukusoma or hukusoma, hamukusoma. You are negating the sentence. Now read the second paragraph where there is the word hukusoma, hamukusoma, hujasoma, hamujasoma, husomi, hamsomi. You see where I was saying when you remove the tense, the tenses in the present and the present continuous, always the I will be at the end of the soma, so it will be somi. That's the same thing happening in the second chart in the present tense and the present continuous. But where there's a tense, like the last word in the second person pronoun, the second chart, you say hatu soma. That will not be correct. Hatusomi. Hatusomi. Hamtasoma. Hamtasoma. Hukusoma. Hamkusoma. Oh, this sentence on the chart here, there's a mistake they did here. If you can see where I'm circling the tense here.
Okay.
On the second chart, where I'm trying to make a circle. Are you seeing where I'm making a circle?
Yeah. Hatasoma.
Hutasoma.
Huta. Oh, okay. Hata. Huta. Hutasoma.
Hutasoma. Which means you won't read or you will not read. Hutasoma. That's what it is. Hutasoma. The plural will be hamtasoma. You won't read. Hutasoma is you. Hamtasoma, we.
But that just says hamta.
That is where they made the mistake.
Oh, so it's hamuta.
No, hatuta.
Hatuta.
Hutasoma, hatutasoma.
Hatutasoma.
Or it will be huta. It remains the same. Hutasoma means you won't read. I mean the second person pronoun. So I'm telling Sister Valerie, you won't read. Hutasoma, you, Sister Valerie, won't read. Which means you won't read, says Valerie Hutasoma. Well, there is a group of Valerie and her friends. I will say, you, which means Valerie and Ida, won't read. Hamtasoma. Now you see, English translated by bringing we will not, where the translation goes wrong. Because basically, it is not you who is saying you will not read as a group. It's me saying to you. That's why it's a second person pronoun, you see? By saying you, it means you bring it back to first person pronoun. I don't know if you understand this. The second person pronoun, in this case, in fact, is the second person pronoun, meaning that Pigeon is here, so Savala is the second person. Then Brother Glory can be the third person based on the position. So if Pigeon is in the sitting room, Sister Valerie is the second person because Sister Valerie might be next door on the sitting room. Glory will be the third person because Glory is outside the door, is outside the house. So first, second, and third based on the position of the person you're referring to. So if I'm sitting in this table here or in this chair and I'm speaking to Valerie who is at the door, I'll tell Valerie, you won't read. That's the first part where I'm circling. In Swahili it says, hutasoma. You, Valerie, won't read. Hutasoma. Now, if Valerie, in her second position where she is, she's with Sister Ida there, so it's no longer Valerie alone. See? English still prefer by saying either you two. English will say you two now won't read. You see, English will bring the numbers. You two won't read. You see? It cannot be said that we won't read or we will not read. If you say we, which means you have now assumed the second person pronoun you've replaced to be a first person. Are you seeing that? Because you're saying we. But here is not you speaking to yourself, it's somebody referring to you as a people. So that's where the English change by making a mistake on saying we. The word here should still remain you, because the English do not have a word, do not change the word you and you. Either you two, English will have either say you two won't read, or you two will not read. Instead of we will not read. Are you getting where this mistake comes from? The mistake one. It's
Yeah,
we.
it's a little bit hard.
Brother Coco. Brother Coco? Okay. Brother Coco seems to be away. So, there's basic simple words here. This is negative affirmation of Swahili, which sometimes become very hard. But as long as you understand that in the first person pronoun, when you're saying, I will not read, you say, sitasoma.
Sorry, I struggle with my mic. How can I help?
Now, I was making a correction of the word. If you see the second chart of the second person singular,
My screen has disappeared. Sorry. It's blank. What I had to do. I don't know what's going on with my phone.
okay, no problem. I'll just go ahead and explain. I think they understand it. That in the second person pronoun in the chat here, where there's a future tense, where I'm pointing at, that word at singular person, which means second person means you're speaking to the second person. You're not speaking to yourself. You're speaking to the second person. And when you're speaking to the second person, you're telling the second person, you will not read. That's what you say in English. You will not read a book.
Let me do this. I'm going to try and rejoin and see if my screen fixes. But
Okay.
one tip I can give you, my queens, is that the verb we have to change it from how it ends with an A to an E, I guess in Swahili, but in my culture, an I in Swahili. In Sesotho, it changes to an E. So the verb itself changes. Whereas in English, the verb doesn't change. We add lots of stuff around it. But in Swahili,
yes, it only changes when you're referring to present or present continuous, when you're trying to negate present or present continuous. But when you're negating past tense and past perfect and future tense, it won't change, because in that your negation, you'll still have to mention the tense. But in the present tense, you don't bring the tense. Okay. You see? Like, can you take it to your Lesotho a bit? Let's just do a practical in Lesotho. For example, in Lesotho, when you are saying, I will not read a book, what do you say in Lesotho?
Yeah, I will not read a book.
Yes.
No, in Lesotho, it doesn't change. The verb doesn't change. Hakinabala.
Just read it. Yeah?
Hakinabala.
Hakinabala.
So, hakinabala, I won't read.
The book. Okay.
Or book, buka. Hakinabala buka.
Okay, now, in the same Lesotho, when you're negating that currently you are not reading a book, how do you say it? I'm not reading a book currently. Or presently, I'm not reading a book. How do you say it?
Hakibali.
So Akibali.
Hakibali.
Or the first one was?
Hakinabala.
So you see there was Hakina. There was Hakina Bala. And here is Hakibali. So there's a word here that has been omitted. If you read, even if you count the vowels or the sounds, there's one sound that has been omitted. Which means you have reduced the sound. In this case, you have removed the tense when you're reading the present. That's why the present tense is shorter than the past tense. The past tense has a akina. So you have introduced the na. While in the present tense, you're saying hakibali. The na has gone. But you've changed hakina bala to akibali.
So I confused them. So what I said, Hakina Bala, it was the future. Yes. I thought I asked about the future. The past is Hakia Bala, but it's more or less the same. No,
wait. Even if you pick the future structures, you're saying Hakina Bala.
Yes.
Which means the word end with Bala. Hakina Bala. Yeah. But there's Ha, Ki, and Na, Bala.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing it in the present, how do you say it? I'm not reading the book present.
Hakibali.
Now you see,
Yeah.
now you see the hakina bala, the la is now changed to akibali.
Yeah.
So the la, which is the A in the end, has moved to E.
Yeah.
Akibali.
That is correct. That
And
was
you
my
have removed,
point. Yeah.
and you have removed a tense by making now the present tense shorter. There's no na anymore. It's a hakibali. So hakina na has been removed, and that na is the tense in Swahili, whereby we say who saw me instead of who tasoma. So the ta has been removed, which is in your language you'll replace by na. The ta has gone, and now you've remained with the who saw me, which has changed akina bala to hakibali. Now that is the same structure here that's applicable here. If you see how Swahili is moving it, because Swahili, when it's in the present tense, they no longer touch on the tense. They say who saw me instead of hutasoma. Hutasoma is akina bala in Lesotho as a future tense. Who saw me is hakibali, which is the present tense in Lesotho, which means the li is the same li in Lesotho that has moved from A to li. And but you have removed a tense now, na has moved. Yes. I hope you now catch what I'm trying to say.
Good. Allow me to just rejoin and see if
Okay.
this fixes it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Sister.
I think what I've got from it is that it's either an I or an A.
Yes.
At the end of the words.
But that is not the bigger concern as part.
Oh,
Biggest
okay.
concern is that only an I and A change when you're talking of a present tense. Because remember, soma is the main verb.
Yeah, that doesn't change at all.
You cannot change the verb, but you cannot change the verb by soma being somi when you're doing a present tense, which means for this verb to be complete, it must have the pronoun. For the word to be complete, it must have a pronoun, it must have a tense, and it must have a verb itself for you to complete that word. So, for example, when you say hutasoma, the one I've underlined, who represent you. Who is you? Ta is will. So you will. Ta is will, not read. So the main verb here is read. But you see, now English is introducing not to mean that you are not reading. You see, you are negating the word you will read is you will not read. But Swahili doesn't need to introduce not. It's just change the pronoun. Huta. So you say huta soma. You won't read. Hutasoma. From the word utasoma, which is you alone, if you check the green screen here, if you are reading where I'm circling, if you are reading it will be utasoma, which is you alone, utasoma. Now, when you're not reading, we are saying hutasoma, H-U, which means already we are negating that pronoun. Utasoma, hutasoma.
Okay.
Yes. Now, up here is husomi, unasoma, husomi.
Can you just point to Husumi? Husumi.
Yes, you
at
see
the top, right at the very top.
No, the second chart.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm here in the second part.
Okay. I thought you moved over. Thank you.
Usomi is coming from the word unasoma. Unasoma, husomi. If you realize in the second person pronoun, all the you, which will be unasoma, if you take you back to the screen up there, all the u's have been changed to H. Look at the second person pronoun in this chart. All the second person pronoun starting with the you. Are you seeing it? U. Here. Here where my screen is moving. All the second pronoun was starting with ulisoma, umesoma, unasoma, unasoma, utasoma. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Now, in negating that second person pronoun, all of them have moved to HU. You see now? Hutasoma, hujasoma, husomi, hutasoma. Are you seeing that? So the U has been negated by HU. That's what I'm trying to drive at.
By H.
So U here means I am doing it. For example, I am cooking. I'll say una. You is second person pronoun. So I will say you are cooking. In Swahili will be unapika. You are cooking. I will start with unapika. Are you seeing that? Now, when I'm saying you are not cooking, I'll not say unapika. I'll say hupiki. So I bring HU. Hupiki.
So
And
the A at the end changes to I.
because it's present.
Okay.
Because it's present tense. But if it was to be past tense or future tense, I would say utapika. Utapika. That is in the future, which is time in the future. So I say utapika, which English will say you will cook. Utapika. Are you seeing
And
that?
what is it? What is the negative?
Now, when I negate it, I change you with the HU. I say hutapika. Hutapika.
Okay. Then it becomes simple. You just change the H then.
Only H is what I change.
Yeah.
And that is
Utapika
essential.
becomes hutapika.
Yes, only H is what I replace the HU. So the HU is the negative syllable in this one. HU, which then negates U. Unapika, hupiki, ama hutapika. Utapika, hutapika. Ulipika, hukupika, huli. Now, in the past tense, are we together? In the past tense, now I will say both he, you, and li, which is ulipika, I will change it huku. So I'll remove you and replace the HU, and li I'll replace by ku. So you'll say ulipika, hukupika. Like in the example here, the word is ulisoma. Are you seeing that in the second person pronoun, the second chart here?
Ulisoma.
Ulisoma, the second person, yeah.
Yep.
The first word in the past tense is ulisoma. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
But when I'm negating it, let's go to the negative chart. The one is sikusoma. Sikusoma.
Sikusoma.
In plural is?
I thought you're looking for second person.
Yeah,
So
we're looking
for ulisoma.
Yeah. Yes, here. It's it?
Yeah, which is that?
Huku.
So hukusoma.
So you see, I'm replacing the li and the u. So I was saying in the second person pronoun is ulisoma. You read ulisoma. When I'm negating, I will bring hu and ku to say hukusoma. So I'll remove a u and li. But in the present pronoun, which is the present word, I'll only actually remove the tense. Let's get to the second pronoun. In the second person pronoun, the present tense. Let's look at it up here. It was saying what? Unasoma. You seeing the unasoma? The sentence here. Una.
Yeah. Unasoma. Present tense.
That's the
Unasoma
present
kitab.
tense.
Yeah.
Which means you are reading a book. Unasoma kitab. Eh? What will I say in its negative? Let's go down here and check. Who what? Who saw me? Are you seeing now?
Usome kitab.
Yes. So unasoma, I've removed u by replacing by hu, who. Then I've removed na, because na is the tense, and replaced that soma to be somi. So I've like taken the tense. I've taken the tense to the I, to the end of the word. That's why the soma changed to ni, somi. Basically, I've moved the tense of na, unasoma, and taken that tense to the end of the word soma. That now makes the soma be somi. But I'm not saying
was there unasoma there, or
there was unasoma.
Usoma. Let's go again quickly.
It was unasoma. Check the second one here.
The second one. That's the third one. Sorry, second one.
The second chart.
Unasoma.
Unasoma. Yeah.
There was na.
Unasoma. Yeah, unasoma.
There was na.
Okay.
And I changed it to husomi. You know the reason why it's done so? Unasoma means you are reading. You are reading. Husomi means you are not reading. So, in the present tense, you'll make the word saw me, and you forget about the na, which is the tense. Just change the verb soma to saw me if you're talking present, because now you've removed, like the same thing you did in your language. You remember when you said naku? Can you repeat what you did in your language?
You were reading about the second
I am
person?
reading. I am reading the book.
I am reading Kiabala.
Yes?
Kiabala. Kiabala. And then
Yabala.
Hakibale is the present. Hakibale.
No, wait. I am reading is?
Kiabala.
Now, I am not reading is?
Hakibale.
I am not
Hakibale.
reading.
Yeah, Hakibale Buka.
Akibale. When you said in the future tense, you said, I will not
Hakinabala.
read Akinabala.
Hakinabala. Yeah, Hakinabala.
Well,
In
I
the
am not
future.
reading will be
Hakibale.
Akibale.
Yeah.
Now, you see, what you have done, and is what I'm trying to explain up there in the where we remove na, unasoma. Because you, when you've read the future, you've said Hakina.
Yeah.
Hakina Bali.
Hakinabala. Yeah,
Hakina
which is
Bali.
different. In this case, for you, I think the future is Otabala, isn't it? Is it Otasoma? Isn't it?
Utasoma. But
Otasoma.
there's correlation. Wait, there's correlation because when you say Hakina Bala, that is I will be reading the book Hakina Bala.
I will not read. I will not read.
I will not read the, yes.
Yeah.
I will
To
not
read
read the
is Ketla Bala. So for you guys, the ta becomes tla in the suit. Ketla Bala.
Now wait. Let's just go slow. Hakina Bala.
Yeah,
I will not read the book. I will not read the book. Hakibali.
I'm not reading.
So you see, the na you've removed the na by saying Hakibali.
Hakibali.
You've removed the na, which was there in Akina Bali. So you say Hakibali, which basically you remove the na in the Hakibali. But also, you've changed Bala to be Bali. Are you seeing that?
Hakibali, yes, for present.
You've changed Bala to Bali.
Hakibali, yes.
That's basically what also Swahili has done. He said, who saw me. It has removed the na and also changed Soma to saw me. Are you seeing that? Hakibali, Hakina Bala.
Okay? Are the queens okay?
No, I'm trying to use your language to drive the point that can make them understand when somebody saying who saw me. Well, you are saying huta soma. In this case, you add the ta, huta soma, which is the tense. But in this case, you have removed the tense. Therefore, you've changed soma to somi. The same way in your language, you say hakina bala. In present, you say hakibali. You've removed na and changed bala to bali. That's the same thing that Swahili does in all present tense. It always changes soma to somi and removes the tense na. Like in the up there, we put the tense unasoma. It removed the na and changed it to husomi. So there's no na and it has changed soma to somi.
Okay.
Now that is almost the same with what happens in your language. I see the structure how it goes, and you've confirmed that. Because in your structure, hakina bala means I will not read the book, but you will reduce akina. Hakibali has removed the na, but changed bala to bali. The same thing Swahili has done by saying usomi, it has removed na, unasoma, it has removed na, and changed soma to somi. Yes. So you see, that's what I'm saying. In the second person pronoun, where there's ulisoma, now in the present, where you say unasoma, I remove u, I replace the hu, and I remove na and replace soma with somi. So I say who saw me. Now in the third person pronoun, where there is word, yes. Now look at the third person pronoun, where there was the word anasoma in present, anasoma. You see, anasoma, the present in the third person pronoun, anasoma. Are you seeing that? Here, anasoma in the third person present, anasoma. I've removed and always change it with ha. Are you seeing that? Where there is a, I'm now putting ha. Where there was you, I was putting hu. Are you seeing that? In the second person pronoun, there was you, unasoma, unasoma. I remove the and replace the hu, which is husomi. In the third person pronoun, where there was anasoma, I've removed a and replaced the ha.
Mm-hmm. And
I
the
see.
would be I.
Asomi.
Yeah, I will always put
Asomi.
I because I've already also removed the tense.
Mm-hmm.
There's no tense in that one. So that's why I change it to somi.
Okay.
This is the first part of the singulars. We might not go XML to understand the plurals, maybe in the next class, but let's concentrate on the singulars and ask questions. Now, in the first person pronoun, the singular will be na. If you look up here, is ni, nilisoma, nimesoma, ninasoma, nitasoma. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
First person pronoun is ni, ninasoma, nilisoma, nitasoma. In its negation, N is being replaced by S. So it become sikusoma, sijasoma, sisomi, sitasoma. Are you getting that?
Yeah.
So in the first person pronoun, we're only moving an N, changing with an S. Nilisoma, nitasoma, sitasoma. Ninasoma, change to sikusoma, sijasoma, sisomi, sitasoma. In the second person pronoun, the word is u. I say ulisoma, umesoma, unasoma, utasoma. This one, the singular part. Ulisoma,
okay.
umesoma, unasoma, utasoma.
Mm-hmm.
But in its plural, I will always be removing you and replace the hu by saying hukusoma, here, the second year. The word is hukusoma, hujasoma, husomi, husomi, hutasoma. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in present where I'm not mentioning the tense, and actually I'm affecting the tense by changing soma to somi in present. But the rest remain hukusoma, hujasoma, hutasoma, the same things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to the third person pronoun, the word was alisoma, amesoma, up here. The word written third person singular. Alisoma,
Mm-hmm.
amesoma, anasoma, anasoma, atasoma. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
This is in positive affirmation, third person. I'll be replacing a by ha if I'm negating it and saying hatasoma, hakusoma, hajasoma, hasomi, hatasoma. So in positive, ni moves to C. Let's master that. Let me clean the board as I give the last part of the summary of these basic words here. So I'm doing my screen I'm using the right side. So I want to do a right side screen here. I've said this is negation. So where I will say ni is in positive. Its negative will be C. C now will be negative. For example, I'll say in the positive, I'll say nilisoma. In the negative, I will say sikusoma. This is in the past tense. Remember, in the past tense, we said you are removing both me and me. Remember, that's what is in the past tense. In the past tense, we say we are only not negating the pronoun. We are negating both the pronoun and the tense. Nilisoma to sikusoma. Now, in the second person pronoun, the word was u, which meant this is in the positive. And the example was, for example, ulisoma. Now, its negative aspect would be hu, hu. That's negative. and we will still follow the same word and say hukusoma. Now, in the last third person pronoun will be alisoma. So R, which is positive, alisoma will be moving to ha, which is the negative. And R, you'll say, for example, alisoma, and the negative will be hakusoma. This is in the past tense. If you try the present perfect, it will be the first word in the ni, it will be nimesoma. Me will also change. If you say nimesoma, the me will change to be, now nimesoma is positive, the me will be sijasoma. Sijasoma. Ama, yes, sijasoma. Nimesoma, sijasoma. Now, in the other positive, in the second person pronoun, you say ulisoma. But here now, it will say ulisoma will be ha, will be hukusoma. Let me check that, sorry a bit. Let me just check that. There's something I'm missing there. Because the second person pronoun is also coming with the ja, which is missing. Yes. Hujasoma. That would be the correct word. You see the word here, huja. You can see where I'm trying to point my, let me see if I can analyze it. If I can highlight this one. Let me highlight it. The color that is yellow. Are you seeing the yellow here? Where I've analyzed in the book?
Where it says Swahili, English,
Yeah.
Swahili, English. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, Swahili English. I've
Let's
analyzed the word hujasoma in yellow. Are you seeing that?
No.
The second word in the chat. I've highlighted to yellow.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, that's now
Towards
the
the bottom, Sister Ida.
Oh, well,
Okay.
oh, right. Okay. Sorry, I was. You didn't
Yeah,
press
this one.
it. Okay. Yeah, now I see. Yep.
This is now the opposite. Ulisoma, hujasoma. What you must realize that all these tenses are making changes both in the pronoun and in the tense.
Mm-hmm.
For the past and for the present
Present
perfect.
and the future. Mm-hmm.
Present perfect. The future doesn't make a change.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
For example, let me get you back to the future. The future will always
I
remain
see.
ta. Because if you see here, you see the word is ulisoma,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm doing an underlining here.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. Mm-hmm.
But you know it's changing to huja. So it's
Okay.
changing to JA and U is being replaced by HU. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the first word, when I say nilisoma, where I'm underlining up here, the nili, those L-I, I replace
Right
with
at
it.
the top.
Yes,
Okay.
I change it with siku. Are you seeing? So I change both N-I with S-I, but also change li with ku. Nilisoma siku. So I didn't say silisoma, I say siku soma. So which means I change both N-I and L-I to be S-I and K-U. So it is nilisoma to siku soma. That's the same thing that I've applied even in the second person where I'm changing ulisoma to huja. So I'm moving both U-L-I to H-U-J-A. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Now,
We just know.
if I move to the present, I will say the word, for example, in the present, I'll say the word unasoma. That should be my present. But check my negation of this. Unasoma, my negation will be who saw me. Are you seeing that? Which means I've removed the you and I've replaced you by HU. Are you seeing? At the same time,
and then I.
I've removed also NA
Mm-hmm.
and changed soma to be somi.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the present. I've changed the structure of this word completely. Unasoma to who saw me. HU replacing you, but NA is disappearing. And N soma now is being converted to somi.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a structural adjustment on each word, but the word on the future doesn't change because the event hasn't taken place.
Utasoma. Mm-hmm.
So the word will be utasoma, and it still remain. It will change to hutasoma. The only thing that has been changed is you to HU. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, because you cannot interfere so much. You cannot negate so much something that has not happened. How can you negate something you have not done that much? The only thing you do is you negate you as a person, which means you negate your personality. So it's me saying unasoma ama utasoma, or saying nitasoma, and I'm changing that to sitasoma. No. So the ta means that so I cannot change the tense. And like the past here, I'm even changing nili, which is the li tense, changing it to ku. I'm changing nime, the me as a tense to sija. Because all these have been past events. But there's no way you can change a tense, or you can negate even a tense of a future event, something that has not happened. For example, even if you go to English will tell you the same thing. You see, it will be, you will not read. It will still remain, you will not read. Because you cannot negate like the reading in the future that hasn't happened. So you just say, you will remain the tense, you will not. Will. The will remain will. Because ta is the will in English. Ta, which means future, will is the same will. So you cannot change will. It will be, I will not read, like I am reading, or I will not read, you will not read, he will not read. There's no way you can change that. It's will forever. Will not read, will not read. And as you check, even if you go to the plural of these words, the ta still remains ta. If you can check my screen, from the first person pronoun, even in the plural, sita soma, the last word is hatuta. The ta is still there. Hatuta soma. Go to the second person pronoun. Huta soma, hamuta. You see? The ta will always be ta. Because that ta cannot change both in positive and even in the negative affirmation. It will remain ta. But the rest of the words here have changed from positive to the negative by changing the tense from nili to siku. Changing the word nime to sija. Ja is changing all the tenses. So basically that is it for today. But I'll also look for a video online that can also actually simplify this and send it as I always do on the negative affirmation of these sentences, so that it add up to a practice video that you can follow up. I'll always ensure that that video is between 10 to 15 minutes so that it doesn't bore you, but it will help you play it and play it. If you can repeatedly play it, you'll be able to master these changes I've been highlighting here. Any question?
I think it would be useful to put the positives against the negatives. I can do that for you guys later tonight, which shows what the positive is and then what the negative is. I think
Yeah.
going up and down to go look at the positive and negative, probably the way they structured the book did not help us a lot. Because what they have done here is to put the negative first person against the negative plural, instead of saying the negative first person against what the positive first person is.
Yes, that would be useful because actually, if I was to be teaching via board, if I was to be having a board and showing my video, I could even just cross it from this positive to negative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Positive to negative. Positive to negative. Like if
Positive
I
to
was to teach
negative.
on a board, it might have been very hard if I was teaching here, but you see, like the teacher will be teaching on a board, basically will be picking this and make it on a board.
Mm. Okay.
So yes, doing that will really help as you. If you can combine that, that will really help. But I'll also look for a teacher.
I can do that.
Yeah, I'll also look for a teacher who is teaching on a board and also share a short
Yeah.
video. And now maybe yes,
Okay.
combine this.
That's fine.
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
Welcome. We'll be moving. I believe before we finish the class, I'll be able to have a board and we'll be doing video one. So I'll not be closing my camera. You'll be seeing me on the board, trying to show you on the board than showing you on the screens here.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
prepare enough for starting the classes, but we'll catch up and see how we resource it and make it better. So we'll do the board, and I'll buy the whiteboard and the rest as we move along.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
So
I think maybe I mean I sort of understand the colors here, but maybe if positive, negative had different colors, that might, I don't know,
no,
might also help.
If
we'll
they're
simplify it.
together, then we'll understand it better rather than going up and down.
Yeah.
Like you see this
I'll
slider,
do something.
you see this chart of first person pronoun. This chart of first person pronoun, if it will be put against this the chart for the first person pronoun positive vis-a-vis a first person pronoun negative, something like that.
Okay.
So it will be
Yeah.
to master it very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what basically Brother Coco is saying will help us do that, so that we make it clean.
Okay.
Yeah, and please, can we start on time, because
so sorry.
It's now really, it's not just due, it's 11:15 here. So we're
wow. Okay.
Oh yes.
Sorry.
Basically, can we agree on our maximum? Because I thought when we started, our class was to be 45 to 1 hour.
1 hour, please.
Yeah, you said
But
1 hour, and then
45 to 1 hour. But basically, see, some of us by 15 minutes to 20 minutes after class, you find one person has already logged in. So basically, we always start. We averagely start 30 minutes after time. Averagely.
So can we start latest 10 minutes? Whoever misses out catches up. It's their business.
If that is
it's running too late.
That's correct, Queen.
Sorry.
Apologies.
I realized it's so late for you, but sorry. Thank you.
It's automatically noted that all classes will be starting 10 minutes late. We open that time by 10 minutes.
If you say like Sister Valerie says, we start on time, then we'll try and come on time.
Let's start on time.
Let's start on time.
Always I'll open the class on time, by exactly 7.
Yeah.
I'll wait until 7:10. If we have one person by 7:10, we just kick off so that we can finish exactly 1 hour, which is 8:10.
Yeah. Whoever joins later catches up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
We don't go back for them.
Okay. Thank you all for your attendance today. Let's see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.